Subway's now slicing their meats fresh. Try a new deli hero from the Subway series and taste the difference for yourself.
The LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Turo, the world's largest car-sharing marketplace. Find your drive. Welcome back, everyone, to the LCS Challengers League promotion tournament, and now we are at match point. Mirage, they're delivering on their words, man.
They are. I mean, this confidence, this level of performance is a lot of what we were expecting when the tournament started, guys, because they were a team that we thought were going to be the guaranteed one to promote. But now they, in their first match, got 2-0'd by Lit, who are our first team to qualify, by the way, and are now fighting for their lives in the lower bracket. I mean, it's funny, even Alorum mentioned how they were a little nervous when they were still in best of threes, him specifically. But now, again, like we said at the top of the day, best of fives, this is the comfort zone for these guys. And I mean, look at the score.
Yeah, like these guys that play like more BO5s, like then honestly I can even count, right? We're talking about with their history, with their pedigree of just them as players and how long they've been around the scene. Some of them even playing on like similar team, well, just the same team a couple years back, you know, being like Neo, Darlock, and Lorem. Yeah, with a couple of them on like Optic, in fact, a couple years back, right? So it's like,
that was Asta, Lorem, and Dardock, right?
That's correct. Asta, who's not Neo, in fact, right? So it's like, it's these guys know each other. They're really playing well with one another, and they're looking to bring it home.
All right, and they certainly are delivering it pretty quickly with how some of these plays have been going. Let's pull up Arturo Key Drive. And Beat, I want to talk to you about this one because it's something you brought up. The flash being down on this Nocturne gets so heavily punished. And when you're Nocturne and you're not the guy engaging, something's going wrong.
Yeah, it's funny. The real key to this play, too, was actually the play that happened right before it. Was just the fact that Limo got his flash forced out. Yeah, and you need to deny this Drake, considering the game position you're in as Team Ambition. So it was a really great punish coming through from Mirage Alliance to get that flash out and then immediately recognize, okay, man, if Nocturne's on our screen again, kill him. And they did that perfectly, which, you know, was the next step on a series of steps that got them to this 2-0 point we see them at.
And that snowballed like crazy immediately after. I mean, Nocturne's not the one pulling the trigger. They get the Dragon. From there, it's a couple of picks into the Baron before Limo can even get his flash up. So it shows you how fast Mirage work once they're able to get an objective going their way. So we take a look at the post-game match. It's looking very, very similar to what we saw last game, Ravish.
Sudsy again managed to pop off in a lot of these team fights, getting double, triples at certain times, right? So he's naturally taking advantage of the terrain, finding his space, and moving off of that too, with early leads that he managed to get as well too. He is laying down the hammer. I said it before, Shurima shall rise, and his Emperor is clearly here to play.
It's got to feel good for Mirage as they are in that comfort zone. As Beat had mentioned earlier, best of fives. They thrive, and they are thriving right now. Well, that's going to do it for the recap. We're going to get on to our halftime show, our Subway halftime refresh. It's going to be Newly Duos Part 2. This time, it's going to be Ravish who's going to answer the questions, and it's going to have to be beat down, guessing these right to see what Ravish had put down. So, are you guys ready?
All right, we got to beat our score. Actually, I'm going to treat this as a competition. If I get 3 for 3, I'm better than you, Ravish. So
okay, fine. We were together on this.
No, not anymore.
All right.
Relationships are a competition, right, guys? That's how it works.
All right. Yeah, sure. This is clearly why we're both single.
Yeah.
All right. Out of all the players here, who is Ravish's favorite? Got it in, Ravish?
I got it in.
Laura.
You were so close. Technically, yes, as a top laner, but my favorite player of the series is Sudsy. His personality is incredible.
Wait, you just said it was close.
Yeah, exactly.
That it was a top laner.
Yeah, but it's the same team, but Sudsy is just has such a vibrant personality. It's hard not to like him.
Fair enough. I actually respect that.
He recovered.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. At least it makes sense now. Sudsy's a really funny guy. Like, and he's really chill. So it makes sense. Every time we do an interview with him, like, he's really cool.
And honestly, he's been in the space for quite a while. I know I've been casting him for quite a while. Ever since, let's see, he started at least his amateur career back in 2016 with Zenith Esports and has run through so many different amateur orgs, including the infamous Team Tony Top that we had from the last promotion. But let's move on to the next question, shall we? I do like that answer. If I had to answer it, by the way, I would actually go with Chad. Dude, he's just unfiltered with his trash talk, and you know me, Mr. WWE.
Eric, I have a real quick question for you, though.
What's up?
Who asked?
I did.
No, you didn't.
I did. Hey, Deserux, who's your favorite?
You can't
Sup, bro?
retroactively, dude. It's
Chad.
over. Just
That's
get owned and keep it
crazy.
moving. I'm sorry, bro.
Man. All right. Now, Ravish, who is most likely to be an anime pro tag in a slice of life?
Oh, okay. I like that we're switching
This is
genres.
tough.
Yes.
Okay.
Slice of life.
Um,
Trying to think of the last slice of life I've even seen. Oh my lord.
okay. Ooh, sorry.
Getting a little wholesome in here, man.
Dude, you know what? I'm gonna go with this. It's a bit of a traversal, but we'll find out.
Controversial?
No, not a controversial. I feel like it's just like someone like, yeah,
You're gonna have
you
to
know
do
what?
some backflips.
I might have to do some
Gymnastics.
backflips.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Slice of life protagonist. I'm gonna say
Slice of
Chad.
life. Chad is.
Chad.
What?
You're
say
not even close, bro. That's
Dude, I'm gonna be real. I had no answer. Like,
that's crazy.
I think Chad
So-
would be great in a slice
yeah.
of life.
I
anime.
said Porsche because I think
think
Porsche has gone through like a lot of trials and tribulation throughout both the qualifiers and also throughout just his series. In fact, of what he's managed to do, right? Is like because like his story's been everywhere too. How he subbed in like halfway through OQ1, right? He's managed to help uplift his team and improve as a player. He's had to face up against his coach going over this series for qualification, right? It's like the
What slice of
trials
life
and
are you watching,
tribulations of
dog?
life.
What is going on?
Yeah, it's like he's a lot going on with him.
I now see what you meant by mental gymnastics.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad you get it.
Okay.
I like it. I think that's a wholesome answer, and you know, Porsche has a wholesome smile as well. So we'll go through with it. Yeah, I can follow through. All right, but we hit one direction. We always got to hit the other. What about an antagonist in a slice of life anime?
Do they have antagonists? Oh my god, it really has been a while.
Technically, they do. That's so hard. I don't know. It's such an arbitrary question. You know what? Here, if we're gonna continue to follow the mental gymnastic, this is where I'll land.
Okay, if it's mental gymnastics, that's actually a much needed hint.
Okay.
I'm gonna say
I
antagonist.
want you to get one, bro. What?
I know. I also would like to get one.
Because we're competing,
Lauren?
but it should be.
I don't know, man.
Okay. All right.
I like that answer.
Did I get
like
one?
that answer a
Did I get
lot.
one?
Let's go.
Oh,
we
let's
got
go.
one. Let's
no
go.
logic went into this. No
All
logic
right, you
at
don't
all.
got that much time left. Ravish, go ahead and tell me why.
Because he's his coach who's stopping him from potentially qualifying. He was his friend before, and now he's a potential enemy. And Alorum is also good, but he's also there you go. That's it. But thank you.
Wow. Okay.
All right. Well, sorry, beatdown. Looks like Ravish knows you
He's
better.
better than exactly.
Yeah, he's better than you. That's it.
better
All
than
right.
you.
Go
I can
ahead
accept that.
and take it away for game number 3, match point for Mirage Alliance.
I don't know, man. You wanted to compete. Just
I
bear
did.
in mind.
I made it about competition. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
own that. It's fine. But you know what else I'm gonna own?
What's
the fact
that?
that we gotta talk about the series, dog. This is
know.
2-0 for Mirage Alliance. Team Ambition. Despite some of the good looks that we have seen from them, it just hasn't been enough. Mirage have been simply playing better, really living up to that confidence we've seen each and every one of those players talk about here. And now, winning this game would definitely be a statement, but it would also be a huge step for Mirage because then they only have one more best of 5 between them and the NACL qualification they believe they deserve.
Exactly that, right? Mirage grinding their way through open qualifiers, right? Through sticking out through both of them as well, to barely not making the upper echelon the first, and then coming back in the second, being like, yo, we gotta humble ourselves real quick. We gotta grind things out, looking like the best stand team in the qualifiers as we all expected them to be. Not dropping just one game through every single series, and now here they stand one away. Of course, actually after falling to Lit. With all the bans now coming in, There's going to be the Ziggs as the final. They want to deny that away from Sudsy again. So perhaps we're looking at, perhaps we're looking at a long-range angle once again for TA. But we'll see what goes on.
Yeah, I think it's a 0 again for Kachu this time around, and they're just hoping Sudsy doesn't end up kind of owning him in the laning phase like he did back in game 1. So, I mean, no surprise at all that we're seeing the Maokai come through immediately, but this one is interesting because the fact is, Poppy has been banned both games 1 and 2, but this time it's going to be up and available and likely in the hands of Limo. And that one is going to be something he will have access to have a lot of early game pressure, early game plays, and hopefully if him and Snow 2 can sync up, they can get a lot of damage done in the early game.
Exactly. And plus, denying away the Poppy away from Alorum as well too is huge. It's one of his signature champions. Speaking of Alorum as well too, he loves the Poppy. He plays that like an actual bruiser. So it's an impressive pick, but one that we'll see he'll circumvent by bringing out the Gragas once again. Naturally, we're looking at the flex options for both this team still, right? This can go in either direction, but they're still sticking with the Caitlyn. Now, this has not been locked in yet. It has been denied previously from Kachu. I wonder if they want to give him a bit more priority to put something that he's a bit more comfortable on. There are some pretty nice ultimates on the other side that he could take. Yes, it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's something he's been very confident on. And again, a champion that has been buffed on this patch. I want to bring it back over to Mirage Alliance, though. This is the same first 3 picks we saw in their Game 1 draft. That the fact that they have these 2 champions with the Maokai and the Gragas, good at making space, good at keeping people locked down so that they can get range damage off. But the question is going to be, Sudsy can't play the Ziggs anymore. So what else is he going to play to kind of fulfill that role? And will we also see the Kazakhs come through? Because that was really great for Chad as well.
Yes, Chad destroying and getting pick after pick on that. Mirage for now, though, we'll see what they decide to pick away from the team. Tristana will being denied too, just more mid lane focus, given over to Sudsy and more respect, along with Porsche's signature game plank. I know Porsche himself was unsure whether to play it or not, as Alorum is very familiar with how Porsche plays. They will patch together a lot. He's, like you mentioned already, Alorum has coached this guy, so a much more interesting perspective on what they want to do. And the Aatrox also being denied away from Porsche. So what other carrier potentials do they have with Olaf now also gone? What will TA do here? Let's find out and see.
Yeah, I'm also interested what the AD carry is going to be. I think that's definitely what's going to be locked in on 4. You want to make sure Porsche gets that last pick. We probably know where these picks are going, but it's going to almost certainly be it's best to leave that top pick for the last second there. And wow, so I see the face you're making, and I'm kind of with you there. So this one is a little tough for me because I am already seeing an immediate issue. There's not a lot of damage on Team Ambition side. I agree Seraphine is a great champion. I'm sure Josh somewhere is watching this and is very happy. But my concern is immediately, where are you going for damage? It really just shouts to me that Porsche has got to go some kind of carry top to deal with this. Or maybe it's Porsche playing Silas top, which should, I don't know, man. But we got to see how the rest of this pans out.
I mean, if there's a Malphite lock-in, then yeah, by all means, go ahead and do it. But for now, though, it should be a bit of a change-up. And this Lilia is something that's interesting. Now, so we're already staging towards the very farm heavy for what they want. And we're talking about damage potentials right now. We see the hovers coming on for what Porsche wants to do. We've seen the Fiora was interesting. Ward wouldn't be bad, a very AP-heavy team. But this, I think, is a lot better. At least you get early lane dominance. But Nate, you're making that face. Why you got that staying face on?
Where's the damage?
Yeah.
Like, look at these champions.
Yeah.
Who are they killing? Like, that's the big thing.
Chad?
Like, sure, maybe, but the thing is, I don't know. My immediate concerns is that if you're not ahead as this composition, it's really hard for you to play. The bright side is there are a couple of squishy members on Mirage. You have a really good combo here, especially if you steal the Maokai ultimate with Kachu's hijack and the Seraphine ult. You have a good wombo combo. And if that doesn't work, it's over, man. Like, you don't have a ghost of a chance winning a team fight. But I'm looking at Mirage's side, too. A lot of their lanes have prio, which is really important for Chad on this Lilia. So, again, Mirage are well poised to take control of that early game. And if that happens, Team Ambition will not win.
Yeah, this is tough here for them. I if I'm looking at Mirage right now, right, this is comfort zone, this is everything, and this is more than likely where they want to be at. If we're looking at going on forward and qualifying, right, for NACL, like this is the position they want to be in. All this team wants to do is make sure they move on up, but as does TA here, B. TA as well, at the precipice and hoping to survive in this BO5. One game is all they need to give them some breathing room. I'm not sure if Mirage is going to give it to them.
Yeah, and you had mentioned it too, Ravish. Mirage potentially qualifying for NACL. We did sit down with Chad on qualification to see. Oh, we need to hold that thought, actually.
Startup is locked down, and he is most definitely dead. The question is who he goes to, and it is Kachu. Nice start. But you were saying?
I mean, that's a good thing. Really important for Kachu to be able to get that first blood. Any advantage you can get in the early levels is really important. So, like I was saying, again, we did get to sit down with Chad on what it would mean for him and his team to qualify for NACL. So let's see what he said.
How will we qualify for NACL? By beating all the opponents in the style we like to do. We like to play our own meta. We play champs that we think are coherently strong, even if other regions or other teams don't play it. So we'll be playing aggressively the champs we think are good in the patch.
And that signals it. He thinks the Lilia is good, and he's looking to bring it out already to push on forward. Though Chad, a real man of the people, and not playing a necessary carry this time too. So I do wonder how he decides to show his presence in his laner's circumference. That's not the right word, but like his laner's lane, essentially, yeah.
Right, and I mean, Chaz has always been that kind of player, even since I first saw him on Immortals Academy a couple of years back, and even until it became Immortals Challenger. He has been that very confident player, his own style type of thing. And it's good to see that that continues here on Mirage Alliance as he tries to qualify back into NACL after, you know, whatever happened in spring.
Yeah, it's tough goes of it, but for now, we can see that Neo locked in a corner, Ignite taking him, he barely survives to get one back, but it goes over to Darlock instead. And Darlock now could just walk his way out of this skirmish. He's
got the moves.
Yeah, he's fast enough, man. He's doing A-okay. But one person who might not be able to walk out is Alorum.
Wow.
Stuck on a tower, survives, and the second tower shot does not land. Porsche will take it.
I got to give props to Team Ambition. They are not deterred with how the series has been gone, and they're doing exactly what they need to in this, what could be their final game. Just full sending a lot of these skirmishes. They know they can fight, and they're looking for any angle to do so. I mean, look at Limo. He has only farmed one side of his camps, and he's looking for a second gang.
Goes back in, gets the stun again.
Oh, Limo's dead.
Suds, he barely survives. He gets one back. A huge return after what is already a very aggressive start for TA.
And that's the problem when you keep looking for plays like these. They can go wrong. It's still a kill advantage and a couple of 100 gold into Team Ambition's favor. But this is still not enough for them to be able to actually get the win here and keep themselves alive in the series. That's the tough thing, because again, this comp, my concerns immediately are that you really are lacking in damage. So if people like Kachu aren't able to get ahead, if Porsche isn't able to use that early game power that Renekton has to help secure things like Rift Herald, win out on more early game skirmishes, Team Ambition will go home, and Mirage will be one step closer to qualifying.
Exactly, but this may not be what's going on. The solo dolo for Koch using the flash and out playing Sudsy there in the mid lane. And the action is not stopping here. Neo's stuck and he's gone. One more back for Dardock, but it's just onto the support.
This is actually super worth, just because the fact is, the first two games we saw Neo lane dominant on this Caitlyn, continuously got leads, but the fact that a big wave is being denied from him and they keep going in on him is really the way to play out this early game when you're facing champions like that. It's just been Limo who has been all over the map so far, but he's sacrificed a lot of farm to do so.
Have you mentioned consistent? I'll talk about that later. Is Porsche's... No, he can't. I'll say, but we mentioned consistently that early game has been the ticket for Mirage Alliance, right? They've managed to find consistent leads, and they translate those to just dominant series of games after that. And TA, we talked about before, needed to find a way to ensure that does not happen at all. Each time these two teams have met, although TA was able to find a really early lead, they were able to come back in the mid and towards the late. Now, the one series they did win, it was quite close, but they're taking games often before, and this has been the way. Just denying Mirage early and making them play from way far behind going into the mid, really push them to their limits. And they're not going to stop the tempo at all here, Nick.
Right, and they've sacrificed a lot in the early game. They've taken a lot of risks, especially with Limo's farm. And you can see how far down he is compared to Chad. And so far, it's been paying off, but at this point, you have to keep committing to this mid, essentially, because Lilia farms very quickly. You're going to keep falling behind, so you got to just hope that you can find value in the gank potential that you offer here. And Limo is a level down going for this invade. This is a fold.
I mean, gets the knockup once again. Chad's in the middle of it too, and nothing found from Sudsy as he dies in the middle of the fight. Oh no.
I mean, this is going well for Team Ambition. And Kachu is finding all these skirmishes, the fact that he got the solo kill early on, and this is the excitement I had about a player like this. Even his teammates talk about Kachu going for plays that they don't see anybody else try. And for a player with a little less experience, and someone who is a little newer to competitive play but shows a lot of promise, it is a really nice thing to see, especially in this scenario, because they need to clutch things out, and TA, they are not finished. Kachu is still here.
Yeah, finds the flash because his team in and of itself drafts around him at certain points, as you said before, right? They kind of just let Kachu pick whatever he wants to, and then they decide, all right, let's see how we can best facilitate him. Nemo's done that a lot. Speaking of which, he's back here again. Let's how should be able to take it, and finally, Neo gets something back for his troubles.
I'm going to be real, that was an interesting one. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. But It's good, at least overall, things have been working out. Giving away gold like that, though, is going to ruin this early game that you have built for yourself here. And in fact, that play opens up Chad to do a little bit of counter jungling. Going to take away that red buff pretty easily as the difference in farm continues to grow. Overall, early game, this is exactly what TA wants to be doing here.
Yep.
And if they can get this kill on Chad, I mean, that would work out really nicely for them. But overall, not a bad start.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job of trying to make as many higher percentage plays as they can, right? Limo just staying as many lanes as possible, finding farm here and there, although he's down a bit from Chad. This is what he wants. Oh, and once again, we go on to Sudsy. He's got to bounce back sometime.
Yep.
And Snow knows it.
Wow.
Gifted over to Kachu. This has been immaculate from Limo and how they're playing around.
I mean, this is this is the player who they did the rebuild around from spring to summer. The only player remaining was Kachu. They believed in him and the potential that he had offered. And it's just really showing in this game how much trust the team has in him. He is 4-0 right now. So he has control over this game with how ahead he is compared to Sudsy. So he has that power to really get a win on the board for Team Ambition.
This might be a good start to it, though. Levitate. Oh, beautiful ultimates. And Dark now once again on left of the fish as we take another and another and another. We're 8 minutes in with 13 kills.
This is unreal. Like, Team Ambition, Limo in particular, has just abandoned farming. He does not care about gold. He is all he cares about is kills, setting up his team for success, and you can see it. Chad has basically doubled his farm, but it doesn't matter because Limo is the one finding plays all across the map here. So it's gotten a 3,000 gold lead at 9 minutes. I'm going to say that again. 3,000 gold lead at 9 minutes in the game, and you can see the total gold score. It is all red at the top of the charts.
There's something that Limo mentioned as well when talking to him. He says that they know the Mirage Alliance play for jungle. They got tank top, strong bot, but more often than anything, they know that there needs to have Chad be, have advantages in his own jungle. So he'll let go of the farm, but he'll be there on timers that Chad is not. And that nothing has been more evident than this right here, where Chad has had to continue farming because he cannot do anything in most of these lanes. Finally, we see Neo get a bit of space, but the question is only now how long would that last? Limo's already moving down bot.
Yeah, you know, Neo's behind now, which is for the first time this entire series. The fact that TA have been able to put so much pressure bot side across the whole map, really, but particularly against Neo, has been a big deal because there is no dragon stacking element available to Mirage right now. Neo, who wants plates, who wants to get ahead because he's playing that Caitlyn, hasn't been able to do so. He's behind it. Farm, kills, plate, like every factor we can think of. And it's just been all team ambition in this early game. They're going to get both of these objectives as they start the Rift Herald.
Finally, a second to breathe between all the chaos that went on the past 10 minutes. But Rift's still in the favor. TA, he used that like he opened up one lane for another. Not much put down in terms of damage on either lane, but it'll depend on where Limo decides to make his presence known once again. So far, it's very heavily on Kachu, and you mentioned in draft, Nate, that the damage is to come from somewhere. So far, Kachu's doing it. He's got all the damage he needs.
That's right. He's 4-0. He's ahead of Sudzi in farm. You gotta imagine. Oh. You got a skirmish here, actually.
He has the mark. Has not put Limo to sleep yet, but Shad is confident enough in his ability to hip hop away, so no need to fear it at all. Simply just a small trade and a flash being given away as well.
Yeah.
Be back to a moment of rest.
Yeah, it's a big catch out there. Something like Lilia is a champion where, yeah, she's very fast, but she's not very tanky, and if you CC her, you lock her down, which Team Ambition are fully capable of doing, you can kill her. And the fact that Chad won't have flash for a potential objective fight coming up could end up being a big deal. And now the big thing I want to highlight, Kachu has his mythic completed. He was the first one to get it done as Levitate has just now followed him. And now he can even get more aggressive since he has that Everfrost to try and add that extra bit of CC lockdown. And I'm looking for him to continue trading aggressively, continue moving around the map with his team, and continue securing kills. Because remember, guys, like TA's comp on paper, his damage is awful, man, I promise. So the fact that they're 2,500 gold ahead, that's good. The fact that they're active on the map, that's good. They need to keep doing that, and they honestly need to increase this lead.
Yeah. And that's going to be the biggest point of contention is how do they push this lead further past 15? It's something that they have trouble with in the past. It's something that we noticed a lot in the game against Winthrop, and something that in the game against TFT, they're very proactive on, in fact, right? And now here, with the win against TFT, it landings them against the Mirage Alliance, their old nemesis. They faced a lot before. They've gotten the better of them just once, and they need to do something here again. Lauren had mentioned previously that the last time they lost, and Chad did too, like they, I think in game one, like it was just, they just had a better read on them. And here, TA, what does the book say? Let's see it.
Yeah, and this is getting a little harder in the laning phase here for Mirage Alliance. I mean, the fact that Levitate has finished that Leandri's, I mean, that's big for Seraphine because of the insane amount of wave clear she suddenly has. So, because of all the activity, and now this Mythic coming through, Neo doesn't get to do anything he wants in the laning phase. Like, he's so far behind, especially by Caitlyn standards, and they're going to keep this up by dropping the Herald bot.
TP?
Oh, TP!
Yeah, that's coming down. Lemo might be caught here too. He gets stuck in the middle. Yeah, that he's just dead. Lauren with a potential lane saving play. So just get something back for themselves. They can't chase further, but something for Mirage Alliance after all that.
Yeah, something much needed, and the timing is pretty good because you should be able to clear out this bottom side of the map, especially if you get a kill off of a potential dive coming through here. Lilting Lullaby still available for Chad. You can see he's looking for it.
Around the corner, like you're saying, keeping him safe. The tower wants to go down. A Snow presses forward. He gets the barrel, and now look to walk in. Levitate is most surely dead. As Snow to maybe the next target. He has not been able to remount just yet. Limo's around the corner for the safety. Kachu playing bodyguard. Mirage Alliance will not press forward.
Snow is low on health. You still don't have Levitate. You can't do anything about this. And just like that, this big gold lead you earned for themselves, it's been cut in less than half. Because Team Ambition, They stayed. They wanted to try and deny that first brick from the Caitlyn. And with that, Neo's been able to catch up a significant amount. The only real saving grace is that you manage to continue dragon stacking as Team Ambition, but this is a real thorn in their side, especially after all the work they did in this early game to try and get ahead.
Couple seconds now, though. Mirage have managed to close the gap a bit, at least in gold. And here is where I want to look at Mirage here, beat. We talked a ton about what TA's competition has been able to do and what they managed to accomplish early on, but you've got power spikes coming online for almost the entire squad here. And I think this is where this is where Mirage can look to finally fight back as well.
I agree, and I mean, Sudsy getting that Blade of the Rune King, really good tier for the Yone. I actually really want to credit Neo. He went static shift last game, but this game, he actually pivoted into that Kraken Slayer because he's dealing with a lot of tankier members on the opposing side, and the wave clear is not what's important right now. It is going to be that damage. So it's true. But, rather, the rest of Mirage Alliance, they are on a timer where they can look to fight, and I'm curious to see how they're going with that, because you still have a really fed Kachu, and what kind of plays are you going to look for to help set up this next objective, which is Rift Herald number 2?
I mean, this may be a good start as well as they rotate a lot of members towards the top side. Vision still in their favor as they do have the craft themselves. Otherwise, though, I'm not sure if Mirage are actually going to contest this, right? Because Chad is in the area, considering he's not necessarily encroaching forward. They might look to give this up, but they need priority in a lane first. And they're looking at mid as he's being pushed farther back, but we'll see if they do anything on top of it. No spots. All in.
Yeah, so this contest is going to come through. If you're Mirage Alliance, the big thing you're concerned with is that wombo combo I highlighted. Snow 2's ult, Levitate's ult. If those land on key targets like Neo Sudsy and they get blown up immediately, that's TA's way to win this fight. But Mirage, they have ways to play it out too, and we got the teleport.
You're saying TP coming in. Snow immediately bounces one back. And Lamo saving that fight. What an ultimate from Levitate. Sudsy tries to save it, he gets one, but look, they're all slept. And a double kill for Neo, taking advantage of the beautiful setup from Chad. Our triple kill comes in as he saves the fight.
Yeah, I gotta credit Sudsy though for that insane Fate Sealed. He saved the fight here for Mirage Alliance. Because take a look again at what happened. The combo from TA that we were building up looked so good, especially with the ultimate from Limo, knocking away Alorum at the start of the fight, and then the big charm comes through. But Sudsy, watch him over the wall. It looks so bad for Mirage Alliance, but that Fate Sealed, he gets 3 people, puts so much damage in here, and it allows Neo to basically finish everything up.
Yeah, they legitimately lined up for him in a triple stack. They all moving forward, and they all get slept. And yeah, just by inches, barely they managed to survive that too. And Sudsy, looking at the subway damage dealt last team fight too, 4K to rack up on that, just doubling anybody even close to him. Like with Neo too, even 1,000 behind. So after being bullied all game at the beginning, he gets finally his time to shine.
It really does speak to that experience a player like Sudsy has in those situations where he was the subject of a lot of bullying in the laning phase, as you pointed out. But for him to find that moment, despite being down in gold, to find such a fight-saving, game-saving play, in my opinion, it really is such a big deal for him. And they all talk about that they belong in the NACL. I mean, plays like this remind us why. They have eliminated the deficit that they found themselves in. And Team Ambition, they're now on even gold, and the problems that I highlighted in draft and in this early game about lack of damage are really going to start showing themselves.
Yeah, see that happen right now though as Limo walks into it. Now they're just barely scratching the surface of the health bars of the rest of the team. Gonna have to be on Kachu once again to try to circumvent it. He takes the ultimate from Aloran, bounces one back. That's Dardoch now gone. Pikachu's in the middle. The Magnet Storm on all 4 of them. But watch Chad here too. He bounces around, stops another, and they go right on top of Neo. He stopped. He can't poke. And with Sudsy now dead, Neo's still staying alive, but they're pressing on forward. Auto, can't do nothing more. And Porsche's gonna stop it. But they're drowsy though. Can he get there in time? A nice snipe from way afar. And it gets a double, but it is a 2 for 2 or 3 by the end.
And these extended team fights, this is what I'm talking about. They favor Mirage Alliance, and they end up coming out on top just barely. But the fact that they are inch by inch, getting these incremental leads, you can see them now up about 450 gold. Really, again, it just highlights the problems Team Ambition are going to have unless you can kill Neo in these team fights as soon as possible. You're really going to lose in these extended trades. Because look at Neo. He now has the Infinity Edge, the Kraken Slayer, very powerful combo for any AD carry. And the fact is, despite what happened early game, he's reached that second item before Levitate, which is so important, right? This is why we highlight a player like him. And a lot of the great things he's been able to do, from LCS to LCS Challengers.
Yeah. Sudsy now though,
Oh,
almost being
he's
caught
healing.
out. He walks in, but he's in the middle of the fight, but meanwhile they find the rest. And they're looking to find more here. Pikachu, they might be able to save it, using the Fate Sealed, and he gets one more. But a snipe from across the rift will not save them. A double kill given over to Pikachu. All those kills early on are finally paying off.
The timing is really good now. You can go for the Baron. Again, problem is, no marksman on your team. Your Baron take is very slow. So Mirage have a really good opportunity to stop this Baron from going through. All right, Neo is up. He is strong. Alorum is here. No ultimate to either of their names, but surely they are going to do something about this.
They've got to try here, Nate, because TA, like, as we know, they're fighting for survival. And with the way the Mirage Alliance can scale, it's a possibility, but look for the turn already.
Splash.
Onto Neo they go,
Him.
he's dead. A shutdown for Pikachu. And the next target, naturally, is the big old tree. Chad's here on time to watch team members die. And in the 3v5, Baron has started up once again, but Sudsy's back up. I don't know if they're gonna be able to do this.
It would be a crazy steal from Chad, but the thing is, again, the slow Baron take is what's giving this opportunity. Mirage look like they want to do something.
They're trying to. Dardoch can possibly barrel them out or just lock them inside of the pit. Chad's here again, but they get a stun on top of him.
There's a
the
turn.
Fake Seal onto 2, and that's a stopwatch to stop them in the middle. Sudsy can't find anything, but now the Magnet Storm goes on. He's caught in the middle. He's surely dead. That's the second wind buzzer that gets the wind knocked out of him. A double kill for Porsche, and the Baron will finally go to Team Ambition.
That's such a big deal here. They shoot the gold lead up to 5K, and they've got themselves the Turo Baron buff to play with Ravish. Team Ambition, they are back in it, and they have a tremendous gold lead to play with. And again, your option here, because you take the Baron so slowly, it is always to turn. Again, what did I say about Lilia? She is very vulnerable to CC. No matter how fast you are, if you can't move, you'll die. And that kill was basically the signal call for Team Ambition to wipe the rest of the team sans Dardoch. And it's an easy Baron take from there.
TA, man. Backs against the wall after losing. Just rough. Games 1 and 2, being down so early on in the game. They decided to turn it up. They decided no more. And we mentioned that this team struggled their way through. OQ1 being counted out, right? Way lower seed. Yeah. And finally to waiting it out by the end in a best of 5. This up against Withdraw. And even and going forward as well. Losing to Mirage once again in the previous OQ. Barely not inching forward. But it's game after game, struggle after struggle. For the organization and for these players who want to make it, who want to promote. And this is will be the game to show it.
That's right. They are not out of the woods yet, but they have a significant lead that they can turn into a win here. And what a clutch time for them to make it happen when they are down 0-2 in the series, staring down the barrel of elimination. Our Team Ambition, and they are still looking to pick out a victory. So now, it looks like Mirage, they might have a catch.
I mean, they do knock away Dardoch 2 in a 4v5. Sudsy does get a good ultimate off, but it's not enough though. Just melee damage on a Snow 2. And Levitate gets all that healing back, so is Null and Void.
Oh, the one thing that's nice, even though you are lacking a little bit in damage, that Seraphine healing, especially as time goes on, will prove to be a little more problematic for the side of Mirage Alliance. And now they have that Dragon Soul point to play for in about 40 seconds time. And the thing about this Wombo combo, it makes it so scary to walk into Fog. Look at how tough it is for Dardoch. He's just throwing barrels. He's trying to see what kind of space he can make so that he can actually try and set up some vision. But Team Ambition, they're not letting it happen. They're playing through mid and bot because they know this dragon is what matters most.
TA on the precipice of potentially denying and keeping their hopes alive, but all that'll matter, like you're saying, a couple of seconds. Snow 2 walks forward, trying to find an opportunity, but way too far forward here. The misstep gives Mirage exactly the move that they were looking for. The Chad going in by himself might be what does them in, but no, Limo was slept, and they get 2 back for free. The barrel as well to stop Kachu. Won't be enough, but Mirage get to breathe for a couple more seconds.
They're going to do more than breathe. That's no jungle, no support for the side of Team Ambition. This is a big deal. They're going to be able to stop that soul point. They get the objective bounty. And most importantly, Mirage Alliance, they buy themselves time. Picks like that are how they're going to find themselves, or find their way back into this game, because you do have really good pick potential. You do have that opportunity for a bit of non-committal engage. From Sudsy, if he uses that Soul Unbound into a Q3, into a Fate Sealed, and something along those lines.
Does that still land and give the ultimate? Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, wow.
It just looked a little funny, you know?
Yeah, it looked kind of interesting, and there's the ultimate that he just got as well. So Aloric will be locked out in the middle. Layers and layers of CC. Oh! Nice flash. Not gonna have the encore land on top of it.
Yeah, and I like the commitment there from Levitate. I mean, there's no objective for the next couple of minutes. You'll have the ultimate back by the time Baron spawns. So this is Team Ambition constantly fishing, because if someone is out of position, they know they want and need to get that kill. So now my sights immediately are set towards this Baron that I was just talking about in a minute 30's time. And it's Team Ambition's most important priority right now. They need to secure this, and the way to do that, they could find a play onto someone else from Mirage, particularly Neo, who's getting pretty strong. It would do a long way for them to be able to get space.
Would be nice. Lauren caught out once again, no flash this time. Still gonna use the ultimate to disengage here. Ooh, beautiful Poppy Hammer to just knock away 2. That should be all the call for them.
Right, and I like the Team Ambition. They keep fishing. They keep using their spells to see what they're going to be able to find, but the fact that Mirage are avoiding it is pretty important. Whoa. They're looking.
Yeah, it's have not stopping here. Like, this objective still abound. Like, Baron up in 45 seconds. That Turtle Baron buff is exactly what Team Ambition needs. Try to push this game forward, but for Mirage as well, it's how they equalize. It's how they bring themselves back. And it's how they keep TA on their toes. Gotta make things rough here, be Mirage.
Oh, look at Forge.
Already they want to make it back too. Snow's in the middle. Encore over the side. They're all CC'd once again, but it's Snow that's dead. Can't force anything here.
Chad
he
is
looks for
alive.
onto Chad, but half of them are asleep. They got to find more. Sudsy walks out of this, but they turn back again. No one from TA is dying except Snow, and Mirage are all still alive. Limo gets caught in the middle. And finally, Q gone. Mirage take 2 again for nothing.
You're seeing those 2 individual Drakes that Mirage have for themselves doing work. The missing health healing, allowing Neo to stay alive long enough to get the DPS down. And what does that mean? It's Baron time. This is Mirage Alliance's way back into this game, and that opportunity to get that 3-0 finish, because they once again have the Turo Baron buff.
You're just saying this exactly what they need to make sure TA is staying on their toes, looking back at this fight as well here, B-Town. Like, it started off very much on a knife's edge.
Yeah, and part of it is the fact that there's not enough time here for Porsche to actually get the flank off. So much is happening in this picture, and only just now is Porsche joining the picture. Because of that, most of his team end up committing a lot of their spells, using a lot of their utility before he can actually also have that impact. Look at him, Porsche, he's doing his best, he's doing so much damage, but because his team lost so much of their skills and their health in this fight, by the time that happened, Neo had enough time to just continue auto-attacking away.
And this is, again, where we go back to the lack of damage conversation from draft through the game. And now here it is where it is coming to fruition. With Porsche not being that even his callings and slice and dice are really doing so much, it has been on Kachu for so long to lay down the hammer on them. And Levitate is trying, he has the Leanders, he has Wild Eyes, but he's just a Seraphine. He can't burst them down, especially with those 2 Ocean Drakes like you're talking about here. And the third one is not coming up in the next 50 seconds. If Mirage get that, I do not know if they die in these team fights.
It'd be really hard for them to do so, and this is the thing Team Ambition is afraid of. We're at the late game now, and we're really starting to see this lack of damage from the comp pay off. Even Chad, who they CC a lot, it's really hard. Look at the damage they do to Dardoch. They're CCing him, and they're barely tickling him. And this problem is only going to keep getting worse.
Now we'll take a look at Mirage's mid to late game calling as well, too. This is where they excel. This is what Alorm was talking about, too. These guys, the pedigree, this is where it pays off for them. They've been enough BO5s, they've been enough games that they know that their late game shot calling is what brings them back, is what keeps them there, is what keeps them at the top of the league. And here for Chad, a bit of a traverse. Unfortunately, loses flash, but still, decisions being made carefully. And this might be the biggest one of all. This dragon fight will decide a lot of the game.
Yeah, even without the soul, a third dragon here, all that missing health healing from Mirage would be such a huge turning point. Team Ambition, they need to secure this, and they need to do it now. Remember, priority targets, it's Neo, and then it's Sudsy. If you can burst them down immediately, Team Ambition have a good chance. Mirage Alliance looking to protect those carries so they can get the damage done.
Walk in, pass the Makai ultimate. That's one knocked away. That's one gone. As you say, that's Neo gone. A shutdown given over. The jungler is dead. Can't Sanzi do anything. There's so much CC. Can he walk in? Now Neo's back in, but it might be too late. He does the damage, and he managed to fire away freely. It's a double kill. Nobody's on top of him. He makes it back in time. He's just shooting away. It's a gallery, and he gets free hits. Meanwhile, Sanzi slices and dices of him as much as possible. That is 3 dead for Team Ambition versus 2 on Mirage.
And the only saving grace is that you picked up that third Drake, and I like the thinking there from Neo, or from Limo, excuse me. I said kill Neo. You knock him away with the Keeper's Verdict. He's effectively dead because he's not doing any damage in the time he is walking back. And you see what they're able to get in the process. The problem ends up being, again, they just don't have enough gas in the tank to kill the remaining members of Mirage Alliance. And because of that, Neo is able to come back. Sudsy is still here and able to output damage, and you just lose the DPS check every single time as Team Ambition.
Yeah, like you're saying, even though Neo's gone for that long, like, Sudsy can do enough. And just the fact that Alorm survives through the entire team fight, too, is a testament to now what's going to happen for the rest of the competition and maybe the game. They go ahead and deny Drake, but I worry looking even at the subway damage of the last team fight, right? They were in that fight for so long, but the fact that Neo left and came back
and still did the most damage by a lot.
Is disgusting, yeah.
It is, and it just shows how much Mirage Alliance are relying on him for DPS in this team fight, in these team fights. And it's something Team Ambition are clearly aware of and are trying to circumvent as best they can. But props to Mirage Alliance. It's been a tumultuous early game to say the least, and Team Ambition try to keep pushing the pace to put them down and get a win on the board. But true to the experience of this roster on Team Ambition, they are finding their fights, and they are team fighting them out really, really well. And as a result of it, they still have that potential to go for the 3-0 here, to show us that kind of performance we were expecting from this roster when the tournament started. We didn't think they would be here in the lower bracket. Still, we expected them to qualify, and a 3-0 is a great start.
Indeed. I mean, as we see Porsche most definitely fall. They were mentioning as well, too, Lauren was talking about how Lit just had a better read on them. It's a shutdown given over Neo. Lit just had a very good read on them. Even the Tarek pick that they were saying, like, worked so well in the Nautilus. And so they had to have a real conversation about, okay, boys, we got to scale it back. We got to make sure we're paying our respect to our opponents. And especially, you know, with one of these players who we were highlighting consistently throughout the entire tournament, it's Neo, too. Like, Neo, even coming in his roster, was very picky about the support he wants to play with. And the reason they went with Dardoch, too, was like, they've all played together on Optic, right? Him, back when he's Asta, as you mentioned already, Dardoch, and Aloran. These guys are familiar with one another, they play with one another, and they know how their minds work. And with Chad coming into the mix, being a confidence caller, they're still going forward here, Nades. A big barrel, and the final breath for another. This
is it.
Is tough. This might be it, Mirage Alliance. Up against 4, up against all the odds, the best team in Open Qualifiers. They brought things back in OQ2, and these players with years of pedigree, the late game calling, and everything they've ever wanted to make it back into NACL. They've been that material for a very long time, and they need minions to do it.
We still got a long spawn timer, so they're going to make it happen. They're having a little bit of a dance party, and they're going to see if they can get the kill onto Kachu. But how about Mirage Alliance, guys? They said they belonged in NACL. They said they were more than good enough to be there. And now with this Nexus exploding, Ravish, they have earned the chance to put their money where their mouth is, because they will be playing Supernova tomorrow.
Yes, they will. One more BO5 separates them. And for TA, we will have to bid them adieu, but incredible plays from both these teams. Mirage Alliance, though, as they dot the I's and cross the T's, these players have made it back up to a level they played at before through OQs, struggling, pushing, working, and cementing themselves back up top. All they need and all they want is one more opportunities, which they will get tomorrow.
They definitely took their time.
Yes,
I'm making you really talk
did.
for a while there with that end game call. But that is Mirage Alliance with the 3-0. And again, that team we expected to qualify. It was all but a guarantee in the minds of all of us on the broadcast and a lot of people who were keeping up with the qualifiers. Even though they had to do it the hard way, Mirage Alliance are now one step away from taking that second spot in NACL Spring next year.
Indeed they are. I do want to give a massive shout out once again to Team Ambition, of course, too. These guys are incredible players through all of their changes through winning OQ1, coming back in OQ2 as well. They consistently push to be near the top of the league, coming in even as the 4th seed as well. Right, there was always questions as to whether they get the run back. Seeing and facing Mirage Alliance over 3 times now as well. So it's always a back and forth, but it just could not chance against them this time. But these players themselves, right, Beat? Like they've got a lot going for them. They've improved so heavily. Like, you know, just talking about just Porsche, Limo, Kachu, Levitate, Snow too. Them fixing their mistakes, coming back to beat TFT after a rough loss up against Winthrop. So just incredible stuff. These guys deserve their flowers. Big shout out to them.
Yeah,
But,
I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree more. It was a great performance coming through from Mirage Alliance. They did manage to make it that next step going against Supernova tomorrow, and now that's their only obstacle left before they qualify.
Indeed. We'll throw to a quick break. When we come back, we'll interview for y'all. See you back in a bit.
Subway refreshed their ingredients, their menu, and now they're slicing their meats fresh. That's why their new Subway Series subs are preferred by this champ.
And his future champ.
Pros who are talking heads prefer fresh sliced turkey.
And pros who use their heads prefer fresh sliced ham.
More deli meats are preferred by this QB.
And preferred by his old backup QB.
And if we prefer it, we know you'll prefer it too. Is this slice as good as your tennis slice?
I can't answer that, but yes.
Welcome back, everyone, to the LCS Challengers League promotion tournament. I am joined with the victorious Chad of Mirage Alliance, and of course his cat as well, kind of sneaking into the frame, brother.
Hello, hello. Nice to see you guys.
So I want to start off with draft because that's always the most interesting thing to talk about. Talk to me about draft number 3 because we got to see you on the Lilia.
Yeah, Lilia's a fun pick for me. I think we picked it against... The last time we played Lilia in competitive was actually against TA. The semifinals of last OQ, so I thought it's funny that we're picking it against them again, so I thought they would enjoy that.
All right, you guys had a 3-0 sweep, and it looked like you had a lot of confidence in your play. I want to know how you actually felt like playing that series. How did everything unfold for you?
It was good. I'd say, like, I personally like to watch a lot of VOD, so I've seen every game that TA's played since OQs, and the team only wins when games are like really, really chaotic. So I think my comms, like all 3 series, were just repeating me. I was just repeating, saying chill, chill, play slow, chill, and just like calling objectives because this team kind of just likes to fight at every stage of the game, and the only games they win are games where it's like 60 kills in like 40 minutes. So I'm just trying to create as much structure as possible in the comms, and I think when the game is structured, that we'll usually always win.
So tell me a little bit more about that when it comes to Mirage Alliance comms. I mean, you guys have a lot of big personalities on this squad. How does communication go for your games? Is it mostly you doing the communication, or does anyone else kind of help?
I'd say me and Dardock, I'd say like with 2-man most of it. Everyone talks, everyone says important info, obviously, but I'd say me and him were deciding most of the things. I'd say when it comes to early game, I decide 90% of the things we do if we're fighting Herald or if we're fighting Dragon or if we're invading. But when it comes to like mid game, it's very split. Like funny enough, in game 1, there was a when we fought a Herald. I'm calling to fight in left side Herald pit, and he's calling to fight right side. They're both winning lines because we're both right. It just like we just have to decide which one we want to follow, right? So a lot of times we're usually either calling the same thing because we see the game very similarly, or we're calling different things, which are both right. We just have to commit to one of them because it's better to be committed to a bad play than be uncommitted to a good play.
You got to all be on the same page, so trying to iron that out. And speaking of Dardock, I know you have a lot of fun picks that you played. We got to see the Kazakhs as well as the Lilia, and boy, did you pop off with the Kazakhs. We all know that you like to have these creative approaches towards the jungle. So when you're drafting these types of ideas, how much of that is like bouncing off of Dardock, given his history?
Yeah, I mean, Dardock makes it a lot easier and encouraging to pick champs that are, I guess, more creative. I've been on teams with coaches who are now coaching in LCS or LEC, and I'm telling them, hey, I think the champ's really good here. And they're telling me, no, just pick what's meta, right? And then you ask them why pick what's meta, and they say, oh, because LPL does it, right? So now you have a player like Dardock who has played the Rengar in his career. He's played the Kazakhs in his career. He understands the champion's strength, so he supports it. Even like game 1, I think I said Graves or something, and he said, oh, I think this is a good Kazakhs game. So even like he sees it from a jungler's perspective as well, and I'd say, yeah, game 1 was Kazakhs was his call, and obviously the champ ended up being really good, right? So having Dardock in draft definitely helps at least a creative player like myself pick what I think is good.
And speaking of, I mean, it's Dardock, Chad. How much all-chatting went on during the series?
Bro, dude, Snow2 is a dog, man. I don't know. This guy has to get out of all chat. Like, I don't know what... Like, honestly, I have some friends on TA who I think are, like, actually good. I think they have potential. I think they could be, like, really good players. And I think, like, these guys are just in all chat too much. Like, Dardock's just responding. Like, I would love to say Dardock's the one in there, like, trying to instigate stuff. Like, it's just, like, this team is just all chatting with us. Like, bro, like, you guys have to focus on the game. Like, I don't think you guys even know what's going on. Like, there's no macro, there's no decision making. You guys are just fighting us. Like Snow2 has to get out of all chat. I think he's just making his team play worse. And then Dardock is gonna be Dardock. He's gonna respond. Dardock will always get the last lick in. And I mean, I don't know. They're up like 6k gold game 3, and Dardock just all chats. Yeah, TA is never thrown. And then like, so I don't know.
I've seen Dardock on stage, and sometimes when he gets kills, he instantly starts typing immediately after. That's why I needed to bring up that question. I felt like there was some spice coming into this. Now, there were some choice words said, as you did throw some at Snow right there. I mean, do you have any messages for your future opponents, though? Supernova, do you have any words you want to throw their way?
Bro, I mean, I don't know. That's going to be a funny series. Hope Music Jungle... You know, I like to meme with him a lot. I'm always in this chat. I hope he picks the champs he's good at and not the champs that are meta. That's all I really ask from him. I think Music Jungle will be probably my most challenging jungler to play against, since all the junglers kind of like either they're down 60 CS because they pick AFK champs, or
now
they
they're
just
playing
roll
more
over.
carries too, right?
Yeah. So Music actually might pick out a champ that, we'll see. It'll be fun.
All right, Chad. Well, you got any shout-outs before we let you go?
Shout out the team. I think everyone played really good today. Shout out Suzy, shout out Dardock, shout out Neo, shout out Lorem. I think everyone played really well. Shout out Norm, shout out Rurik. Thanks for everyone for watching. I think, we're definitely going to promote. Just we'll see if we do it cleanly or not tomorrow. I don't know. I mean, none of these games are stressful. I go into every game thinking we're going to win. Just so, hopefully we get on the right side of the bed tomorrow and make everyone proud.
I've always liked dissecting your mind and the level of creativity you bring and level of honesty you bring to these interviews. So thank you for your time, Chad, and best of luck tomorrow in your matchup against Supernova.
All
right, let's bring back the casters, Ravishing Ravish and Beatdown, ready to wrap up the day. Yeah, those words. He was willing to throw them, bro.
I mean, yeah, it's Chad. We've kind of been accustomed to this almost the entire time through all, even just the interviews you've seen of him. Like he's a very confident guy, which I respect it.
But hearing that Dardock is not the instigator and that Team Ambition that was a little bit of the surprise for me, Bean.
That he was the instigator.
Was it?
Why do you
That's what
think
Chad was
Dardock is so
saying.
toxic? Is my real question.
I told you, I watched him on stage typing after every single kill, man. This guy is the biggest all chat I've ever seen, bro.
I think Dardock has mellowed out. I think his years has like
smiles
gotten
in chat. Who knows? That's not toxic, right, guys?
Yeah, he's just a good old guy. Dude, Dardock just does his thing. That's it, bro.
Yeah. And of course, he works incredibly well with Chad to bring out the best in both of them. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the bracket to see how things have unfolded. We just got through with that clean sweep. 3-0 for Mirage, so it means they proceed forward for our last match of the promotion tournament against Supernova Ravish.
Mirage, I mean, I said it already, man. This is an expected result for many of us, what we were predicting, and for Supernova as well. They're gonna have to really bounce back after what was a tough, game 5, especially up against Lit 2. That full series took a lot out of them, and Mirage looks better than ever.
Certainly do. And any last words for you, Beatdown, as we close out this bracket?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy week. Just now that we've had that bracket filled out, we only have one more match left. And it's going to be interesting to see whether or not we get 2 new teams going into NACL in spring next year, or Supernova will be able to actually take down the ever so confident Chad and Mirage Alliance to return to the fold next year.
If you want to see that match, you're going to have to tune in tomorrow. That will be our final match of the promotion tournament, our final spot for the NACL. But as we start to close up, we want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, and that is going to be Turo. The LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Turo, the world's largest car sharing marketplace where you can find just about any car for any occasion. Forget about those boring rentals with Turo.com. And with that, we got to give a thanks, of course, to Rally Cry and Monkey Bubble, always putting their work in to make this production come together. Thank you to our casters, and thank you to our teams, all the staff. And of course, we got something going on right now, and that is Game Changers for marginalized genders. There's some great League of Legends action going on all weekend, so let's keep it rolling. We're going to go raid them. But for the desk, my name has been Desrux. This has been Ravishing Beatdown. We'll see you next time. Be sure to tune in tomorrow, 1 p.m. PT, for our final promotion battle.